All right, everybody, I am super excited.
Episode 2, we are here with... All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to the YoungPro podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the YoungPro podcast, where we interview financial and philosophical guests in an attempt to answer our questions about the world around us. Both Dustin and I are fascinated by the way people make money and their journey towards financial freedom. Who's our guest today, Dustin?
Well, yes, today's Nick Reggio. Nick is 44 years old, married, 3 kids, 3 wonderful kids. Lives over in Dallas Center, kind of out there in the country on a farm. Extensive background in commercial lending, banking, finance. Works for a company called Bank. He also does a lot of volunteer community development, community outreach programs, and loves to coach his daughter's soccer teams. And so glad to have you here today, Nick.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet, man.
We got in a little bit behind already about the coaching, but you're coaching too, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
Do your guys' kids the same age?
I don't know.
9, 12, 9, and 8. So
yes, the 12-year-old. I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So your
in the
oldest and my
same
youngest.
district?
Oh yeah. So mine's this.
Your oldest is a boy, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only know how to make girls.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have 3 girls.
I've kind of done both, so I'm talented. I can
Double dipping.
Yeah. But how's the week going, man? I know we've had a couple of conversations this week and trying to put some deals together. And I know you're...
No, it's a great week. Anytime it's sunny and no wind, it's amazing how it affects. Seriously, it affects. I feel like the team that walks into the bank is in a better mood. I got brokers calling, asking for deals. Got a few deals approved this week. So kids sports is going good, except for the 35-mile-an-hour winds at the track meet Monday. It was fine.
Were you out last weekend? In the cold
last
and wind?
weekend we had a game on Sunday, and it was not fun. But
Yeah, like 38 degrees. Like my son plays baseball, so like the outfield, there's a bunch of just dudes like in like coats.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't really baseball, but they were 38 degrees and blowing windy, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I think it was the first time in my career that when the girls stood up to kind of break it down and go out onto the field, and then the subs sit back down, when they stood up, the little bleacher chair thing, the little thing that you spread out like an accordion, took off. The wind was that bad. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So I mean, I know we got a lot, we have a lot of things we want to talk to you about, with everything you got going on, commercial, of course, being a commercial lender and banker, and we want to tap in a little bit about your community involvement. I was kind of telling Ethan a lot about that with your volunteer, kind of your thought process with that. But how about you just kind of set us back a little bit, tell us a little bit about your story, kind of maybe where you kind of grew up and kind of to this point now of kind of where you're at today.
Definitely. I'll give you a Cliff Notes version because it could be really long, but we'll keep it short. To this day, I still claim New Orleans as my home. So born and raised there. Very, very proud of my city, my hometown. My mom is still down there. Mom and dad are both still down there. But I had the opportunity to go play college football in Missouri. Played up there for 5 years and then joined Wells Fargo, this little bitty company that no one in this area has ever heard of, literally right out of college. And so that kind of started my professional career at that time, I would call it more on the finance side. Mm-hmm. So we do financing at Wells Fargo for, a homemaker style store, make some cold calls to them and try to sell them some stuff. And then also collect on those that did not. So that was how I started. I was with Wells for, I believe, about 7 years. And I actually traveled the country managing a few branches for them and ultimately ended up in Des Moines, leading a team here. And it's where I met my now wife. Somehow talked her into moving to New Orleans. As soon as we got to New Orleans, mysteriously 3 children happened. 29 months apart total between the 3. My girls today are 12, 13, and 14.
What?
As of the 14th of this month, my girls will be 12, 14, and 14.
Wow.
So they're 11 months, 11 days apart. Yes, they're Irish twins. When the doctor says wait 6 weeks, we waited 6 weeks. But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. So 3 kids pretty quick. Everyone in New Orleans just knew my wife as pregnant Darcy.
Right.
And it was not my fault. Just joking. But yeah, so New Orleans was good. It was a good experience. I worked for a bank down there. I worked for a few banks down there.
Now,
But
what year was that?
about a year after Katrina. So
I was gonna say, I was wondering.
07. Yeah, so the purpose for going down there was to do that, was to go back and help. I mean, when a natural disaster like that happens, which I've lived through many hurricanes, when I lived down there, you feel helpless. You feel like, like my mom is still down there. My father was not at the time, but my grandparents, all my high school classmates, most still live down there. And you just feel, it's like, what can I do? I feel helpless. My uncle owned a construction company down there, so I was like, all right. And I'm that weekend warrior guy that likes to break stuff and have somebody else come and fix it. And so just decided to move down there, and she agreed to go. And in order to do, we got married, got down there and decided construction was not what I wanted to do. So I just stuck with banking and finance. And then I actually wound up leaving that for about 3 years and started my own kids inflatable business. Yeah, I mean, so when you have kids that are that close together, and you're always having birthday parties, it feels like every 2 months, and then you're attending birthday parties every week, you just realize there's a shortage. There's a shortage of places to go, and I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset, even to this day. And I'm like, I can build that. That should be easy. So I did. I quit my job. It's like a Hy-Vee style store, how they have stores next to it.
Yeah.
And it was a 40 by 80 building, ripped all the walls out, ripped everything out, had just 2 bathrooms in the back. And I it was just 4 inflatables. And so we hosted private birthday parties in there. Because in New Orleans, even if it's nice out, it's humid and hot and muggy, and you just don't want to be outside really any time of the year, to be quite honest. So I did that for a few years. But that experience, it's ironic that we talk about it, helps me more today than I'll ever know. Because when I sit across the table from a small business owner, I feel like I can relate to them a little better. Because what I saw as a customer was $300 for 2 hours. What I didn't see was the fire, extinguishers busting, the sinks at 4 a.m. and just the bad.
Random, yeah.
The bad. Literally. Yep. Cops, where I live, cops called because baby daddy showed up to the birthday party and wasn't supposed to and started a fight. Like stuff that, there's a reason that the business is no longer there. Yeah. And why I'm no longer
did it just not work at all? Was it profitable? It wasn't as profitable as you wanted it to be?
And I use it almost daily with people. When I was there managing it, we were rocking and rolling. It was private. So you literally had this entire place to yourself, whether 8 kids showed up or 30 kids showed up or parents or not, you had the place to yourself, and I could wine and dine with grandma or whoever, or playing the inflatables with the kids. Yeah. Probably about 3 months in, my wife's like, hey, I know business is going well, but you're not home. Yeah. You got these at the time, I don't know what their ages were, 1, 2, 3. It was really, really young. I need some help. Hired a manager, and any business that the owner is not involved in, whether it's daily or whatever, it's up to them, I guess, but it's just not run as well. It's just not the same. Yeah. And sure enough, I had some really, really good people, some of which I still stay in touch with on social media, but it wasn't me. Because we literally, our first party was sometimes at 8 a.m. and the last one start at 10 p.m. So I was gone all weekend, day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. And we did very well financially. But if home life doesn't work, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. So business was very successful. Unfortunately, got sued for a kid that fell off of a inflatable and sued me because they broke their leg. Well, when your 4-year-old is 98 pounds, that's not on me. So you can read between the lines there. So I got out of that business.
4-year-old was 98 pounds.
I struggled to pick him up and bring him to the mom's car.
I didn't break 100 pounds until I was a sophomore in high school.
I was about to say, I was probably in 8th grade.
Because freshman year I wrestled 93.
Yep.
That was the lowest, or it was 98.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I was in high school, there was 98 as well, and 103. Now I think it's just 103
Just
or
103.
1. Yeah. But I wrestled under 100 pounds.
It was, and imagine mom wasn't small, and
That's unfortunately, not to interrupt,
Yeah.
but especially, I mean, that was how many years ago? And I think
long time.
2011, 2012, I mean,
Yeah.
10, 13 years ago, whatever,
Yeah.
12, 13. I think it's even gotten worse, right? It's this litigation world that we live in that people are just looking for opportunities, unfortunately, to potentially take advantage of something.
Well, and the
in
irony
legal
of the
world.
whole thing, as I carry him out, give mom my cell phone number, and I'm like, ma'am, if I can help with deductibles or whatever, I'll do it. I know I didn't do anything in my head. I know I
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong. My place was pristine. Like, I'm kind of OCD on some
Yep.
things, and you have to be in that business. You walk in and smell socks or shoes. That's not. I mean, for me, that's not right. So that was on a Sunday because there was a Saints game on. I'll never forget it. Monday, grandma calls. I speak to the owner, and I'm the only one there. And she's like, your place is so dirty. And at that point, I'm like, you've never walked in here. I mean, it's literally, you can eat off the floor. And I'm like, can I help you? What's the purpose of this call? Well, my grandson broke his leg in your facility yesterday. And she is just yelling at me, cursing at me. And I immediately jump off the phone and call a guy that was a mentor. And I learned very quickly, too, through that experience with owning a business, that sometimes other similar businesses are not your competition. Because in this case, if his place was a piece of shit, was just not well run, was dirty, people were injured all the time, it reflects on me too.
Yeah.
Like the industry as a whole, you all have to be together. And I called him and he's like, Nick, get your insurance on the phone now. Yes, your rates are going to go up, but you need to start the process now. And I loved it because the insurance company I had at the time, I don't remember what it was, not that it matters, but they literally flew people in because they're like, we're sued all the time. We need a good, solid case for how to properly handle this. And long story short, they sued me for millions of dollars and did not win anything because he had an NFL contract coming in with a broken leg at 4 years old.
4 years old.
That was their argument.
That was their thing.
Yeah.
And, but we'll settle for, and I'm like, nope. I'll never forget the phone call when they called and they're like, we're willing to settle. And I said, you do not have my permission to ever settle for this. I'd rather go under and lose my house than you guys settle with somebody like that. Because I just don't believe in that. It's wrong. If they ask me to pay a copay, even if it's $5,000, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Just because you gave, my place business, I think it's the right thing to do. But for you to sue me because your kid, whatever, is heavy. Honestly, I mean, it's just crazy. It's one of those typical, just normal slides, and in the height of this chair, when he landed like this, it broke. Fragile bones, overweight, whatever. But anyway,
so that experience.
Did you win? You didn't lose.
Yeah, we won that. We won the case,
and they got nothing.
They got nothing.
And did they have to pay your attorney fees?
No, I mean, I wound up paying it throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reality is they kept it almost to a minimum to where they came to me and they said, we're going to do more than normal for us. No offense to me as a customer. They're going to do more for them as a company they came out at the flooring I bought at Sam's was that puzzle piece, multicolored, that kids have in their daycares.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But they're measuring the density and this and that and all these kind of things. So anyway, but that experience as a whole helped me, and then I tried to sell the business. Well, who's going to buy a business with a pending lawsuit? Nobody. So I lost my tail in that business. But I've learned so much. But yeah, that was New Orleans. We moved back here.
Is that your last entrepreneurial?
Not
venture?
really. I mean, I was in Advocare, which is a nutrition company started in 2010, and I still take the products. I don't actively sell them anymore, but direct sales company. But yeah, I'm always doing something, flipping a trailer, a rental maybe right now.
Yeah. You doing a rental right now?
Mm-hmm.
I have my first Airbnb right next to Grimesplex in Grimes.
Nice.
And
how's it doing?
It's great. I think it's time for someone else to own it. So
I think this is what's cool because when we were talking about having Nick on, You know, a lot of people talk to us about Airbnbs, and you can YouTube and you can see all this. I mean, there's pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, especially on video and out there, it's always, man, I'm just killing it. You know, I'm doing this and making this money. But sometimes, you know, the reality of a lot of this, anything in real estate or anything in reality of anything we do, but especially real estate, you know,
social media.
and on social media, you know, it's not always as great or whatever as what people maybe perceive.
Right.
I think you have a really good. I mean, you're deep into it, right? I mean, this is your first. You just bought your first property
December 1st.
December, so you're less than
6 months in. Yeah.
6 months in.
5 months in.
Because I was there with you when you kind of was looking at it and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, were you
and-
his agent?
No, he found it a client or something,
On accident, almost.
kind of an off market,
Yeah.
kind of a scenario. And I mean, I looked at the pictures, beautiful, nice little place, great location.
It's location. Yeah.
Yeah, the location's awesome. But yeah, just maybe tell us a little bit, kind of, you know, deep dive into like your experience, what you've learned, what you would have done maybe differently.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I wanted something under 200,000. I had a number in my head, kind of made up, to be quite honest. I had nothing behind it. That's just what I said. I knew the neighborhood I wanted because we go to Kansas City all the time. We go to St. Louis occasionally, in Ohio occasionally for soccer. And my frustration as a parent, and I guess a coach too, is if you play a game at 8 a.m. and then your next one's at 2, it's like, what do I do in between? Do I take the 20-minute ride back to my hotel, or do I stay here under a tent or whatever? So with this new Grimesplex coming and knowing that they're going to be hosting tournaments, what if you could walk like 200 feet and like sit on a couch with a full kitchen and a washer and dryer if it was muddy, or and park a car in a garage? Oh, by the way, and it's cheaper than a hotel, and there's 3 bedrooms and a bathroom in it. So that's where my brain was.
Yep.
So my vision was 3 in 1 block. And so we bought this. I sent a lady that I just knew through social media, hey, I knew where she lived because she had publicized it. And she's like, actually, my neighbor is selling hers. And so I met her and walked through it, and it was in the middle of rehab, and the work being done was just not very good. So without getting too detailed, I said, if you stopped and never walked in this house again, what would you sell it for? So I bought it at that. Did the work, finished the work, and Airbnb itself has been an amazing platform.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a communicator. I just am. And it at times hurts my marriage and hurts my family because this thing is on me all the time.
Yeah.
But it's also helped my business. It's helped the commercial lending. It's helped the Airbnb stuff. You know, if you ask a question on Airbnb and somebody responds to you within 30 minutes, it's like, holy shit. You know, because that's the most common thing I hear about small business owners. I didn't get a call back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they said they were going to do this and they didn't do it. But I was thinking renting out a house. What I wasn't thinking is couches, plates, washer and dryer,
Extra
beds,
expenses.
mattresses. Yeah. I thought of it, but I didn't really put the pen to the paper.
On what that costs.
Calculate it, yeah. How much was it? Like 4 or 5?
I guess I could use a round number, probably close to $10,000.
Oh wow, to
And
furnish
it's a
the house,
small-
yeah.
But I'm a little different. Like, would I grab some, what I would refer to loosely as college couches? I wouldn't. So we brought brand new from Homemakers. Now there's
I think
a
he's making
low
fun
end.
of our couch.
There's
Yeah.
yes, I am. As I stick to this.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lower end at Homemakers, so we were economical about it. But if my goal was I don't want Dustin and his family to stay once. I want him to stay 3 times, and I want him to tell you
To
the
stay,
business.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the business. True.
because if your shit's cheap,
They're gonna know.
they're gonna tell.
Yeah.
I love the location, but
Right.
they're gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I did learn that very quickly. There's a lot of honesty
Opinions
out there, a
and-
lot
yeah.
of opinions out there.
Yeah.
So we did. I mean, the stackable washer and dryer, you know, type things. Knock on wood, I haven't had any major expenses yet, but I'm sure they're coming.
It'll come, yeah.
But I didn't account for that. And the other piece that caused me to now want to sell it is I used our home equity line of credit put the money down. And so that payment's like $337 a month. So that's my profit. So instead of me profiting $350 to $400 a month, I'm paying another interest rate to somebody else.
Because it's
So
not cash flowing enough.
It's not. Now you would think a house at $200,000 bringing in $2,200 to $2,400 a month should cash flow, but over the winter, the heating bill, which I don't control the heat. So if you rent my place and you wanted it 87 degrees,
yeah, you're just toast.
You're at the whim. Yeah. You're at the whim of what they want. If they want to take 3 showers a day, you're taking 3 showers a day. So I know this is specific to this house is a great location for someone. If someone can put the money down, I just didn't have it to put down. We as a family just didn't. So it'll be good because I bought low, and this exact floor plan, there might be like 30 of them. 5-block radius. It's crazy. 3 bed, 1 bath, 960 square feet, 1 car garage. Like,
so 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet home. Because you're talking about cable, right? I mean, you got all those internet.
I just went and did all my averages. Yep. Metronet, $77 because I wanted the same thing. Do you get the lowest and slowest?
Yeah.
Or do you get the best?
Yeah.
For $20 a month, I'm gonna get the best to get the best reviews.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things.
Metrics that they use.
Yep.
So if someone's looking at like a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, I mean, I know it's different with property tax. I mean, there's so many variations, obviously, but in your mind, just spitball numbers. What's the overhead, not including your mortgage, but what's the overhead to run that?
It was $351. I just did averages yesterday.
351.
I'm a numbers nerd. Yeah.
So 351. So
yeah. And,
that's interesting.
And the way, and you and I have had these discussions in the past, when people come in and want to buy a place, if you buy a place for $200,000, it should bring in 1% a month. You should have a $2,000 renter. But with Airbnb, you gotta have more.
You have 2,400.
Because to be honest, if I pay I mean, it's public knowledge. I pay $187.5 for our place, so I should only have to bring in, using round numbers, $1,900. I'm averaging $2,200.
Mm-hmm.
But that $1,900 doesn't include that $351, and we're breaking even.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this shit to break even.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your per day? How much?
Yeah, it's a great question. So and Airbnb helps with that, right? So they have like this button, smart pricing, and it's based on square footage. It's based on zip code. How many other properties are in the area alike. Bed and bath count, garage, fenced-in yard, like all these parameters. Yeah. So we started with 105, and I mean, like today I have 22 more bookings, $8,051 booked out. Like I'm planning on selling it with that. So there's bookings out.
Wow.
Now it's going to July or August, right? So it's spread out. There's still a ton of availability, but it just, those extra numbers, it just, you get to a point where it's like, in the $40 cleaning, we allow pets, which my wife and I are not on the same page. It's got LVP or LVT, the laminate floor. So in my head, I'm like, pee and boof's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But dog hair,
well, the cleaner should take care of that though.
Yeah, but I'm the cleaner.
Oh, you're the cleaner.
Like I don't have, and I've never mentioned the expense of cleaning it because we do it. So that income is me today. Now, if I wanted to clean it, they'd probably charge me about $40 per hour.
Yeah, $40.
So whether you stay for a month or a day, it's typically the same cleaning fee.
Yeah.
Now I've learned I'm on all kind of stupid Facebook groups. Some do per bedroom, some do per day per bedroom. We've chosen a flat fee.
You can do furnished finders as well. That's for midterm. I've heard phenomenal things.
So I accidentally found, or they found me, I should say, a long-term, a traveling nurse.
Yeah, a long-term or a midterm?
103 days for me is pretty freaking long.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you sign up for a new Airbnb account, just like any other account, you're going to have potential fraud.
Yeah.
And I was warned of it. And these people reached out and described what they were going to do. And I had already told the first few no, because I thought they were fake. And maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I'll never know. But this particular family had previous reviews, had, and
that's a
Airbnb
great,
provides
yeah.
that. It's
Yep.
huge.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's a section where the Airbnb owners can provide reviews that they can't even see. So it's really good. Would you rent to them
Really?
again? Yeah.
So if
They're
you're a
pretty smart.
host,
Yep.
You can
Hosts
know
can
them.
talk. It's not that we can talk to each other,
But-
but we can provide.
information
Yes.
about the guest that the guest doesn't know that the host left.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You're gonna have to pull my account after this. So
It's
I
See
can,
what
Now,
what you're.
and that's the thing.
Don't go to
You
don't
can't,
to that guy.
you can't randomly go do that, and I can show you the app. I mean, it's very, for me, it's user friendly.
oh, you can only pull my account if I request.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep. So it's not like I can search.
Search my name.
So, which is good for privacy purposes.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I
Plus
might have to
people can-
request just to be.
Yeah.
Just to
You're
figure
welcome
out.
to. But I have since, because bookings were going so well, and I saw my numbers, I wasn't making what I want. I went in and just probably 2 weeks ago changed it to 125 a night. Still getting bookings, but on a 30-day window, I can get an extra, $600.
What was your number
Well, it's
previously?
So I went from 105
5
to
to
125.
125. So 20.
Okay.
And then the asterisk to that is when this sports complex comes to town. This will be my sale when I put the house on the market. You might be able to do $300 a night.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even if it's the same as a hotel, the availability of walking and not having to fight the parking lots,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
there's
you
no
win.
number.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't put a number on it.
Plus, I heard the parking's not going to be the most
Yep,
greatest over there.
And
probably.
you'll have off street. You have off street parking.
5 spots.
5 off street parking
So
spots.
they pulled, and that's where I kind of shot him a private message yesterday. So this person before me chose to add like a camper
Pad and a
pad on the side, and continued it to the backyard to where there's a big, sizable back patio, cement back patio.
Wow.
So I love the house. It'd be a great first home.
Yeah.
The irony though, at 235, for me, a first home was like 100,000. Like my first home ever was 92. I'll never forget it.
Mine was 149.
Yeah. Today, good luck finding.
luck finding, yeah.
140.
Yeah.
Like this is the bare house and grinds. It's
So,
probably the most simple house.
Do you think? I mean, that you'll maybe shift gears, maybe get this one sold, and maybe try another style or type of Airbnb, like different location or different style of home,
Possibly. I've just got to work harder to quit spending money on stuff, because I like to buy stuff,
Well,
and have the money saved to be able to put the money down. Because if I had, in this case, 20%, $37,000 to put down, this deal's rolling, and I wouldn't even think of it.
So
I would pay my cleaning lady,
yeah.
so I don't have
Yep.
to keep doing that and listen to my wife complain about it, because neither of us want to go clean. I
Yeah.
don't want to be on my hands and knees under a bed picking up dog hair.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
yeah.
At my age, especially, it takes a little longer to get up now.
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that, the timing of it. You get it, put someone as a renter in there. Yeah, you might not make as much money, and maybe you may, but you don't. You kind of have to set them up. You do that work up front, and then typically for a single family house, they pay their own utilities, they're paying their own water, they're taking care of their lawn, they're taking care of snow removal, so they're in charge of all that. So you really do have a pretty good understanding of what your net is, except for repairs and,
Yeah, and I didn't
and
even talk
capital
about
X.
lawn care. If
Yeah.
that's $40, I don't know, whatever. $60
So
bucks.
plus the time, like you mentioned, of having to go every time someone moves out, then there stays. I mean, you got to go in there and clean. I mean, so the timing of it.
Change
what's
the
your
sheets, put new sheet? Yeah,
what's your time worth?
That's it. And
That's
what
why
it comes
doing
down
it
to.
at such a micro level. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I mean at a micro scale, it's so hard to be profitable with how much time goes into. It's not passive. It's earned income.
Well, and I'm a smartass. That's the life that I will always. My mom's not proud, but I'm a smartass. But it's like, okay, I own this property for 10 years and I made $100,000. Was it worth $10,000 a year? I mean, no offense, but I could spend that by just going to buy a 4-wheel. It's not.
Yeah.
For this particular one, for me at this time in my life, it's just. Now, and we bought it for what we did. We have remodeled it. We have fixed it up. We're about to do a little facelift before I put it on the market. So there'll still be, I'm hoping, a little bit of earnings on it. But it has really helped me, though, understand the difference. And if you sit back and talk about it, it's like, duh, that's obvious. But it wasn't. In renting in the Airbnb or short-term rentals, it's just different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you really add in the cleaning person and then lawn, you might be a $450 a month, $500 difference.
Right.
Would you keep it if the cleaning, the hosting, and the maintenance or whatever, the lawn was all
Like a management fee.
Yeah, it was all worked in, and you were just breaking.
If you
even,
had that
so-
20% down.
Yeah.
and
Oh, heck yeah.
But you were still just
I'd
breaking
buy two
even.
more.
And you were just
Yeah.
breaking even though. But all that behind the scenes was
So
taken
here's the
care
hard
of.
part about what I'm saying breaking even. So because this home equity line, all home equity line credits are set up at interest only payments.
Yes.
So I'm making no headway on the down
Yes.
payment.
No principal.
So all I'm making headway on is my loan on the first.
Yeah. The
So
initial
if I'm
principal,
breaking even, I'm really, it's like, oh my gosh. It just, like I've thought about, plenty of people do management fees on top of this.
Yeah.
So let's say it was 500, then there's a management fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm making 2,200 a month, that's 12%.
Yeah.
There's another 240 to
Yeah.
$300 a month. So I'm sure there's money to be made.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, in my opinion, you really have to have money to make money. The whole using other people's money and borrowing and do all that.
I do. I think
I do all right.
I think what you did though with the HELOC, you know,
Yeah.
having that HELOC on your personal residence,
Yeah.
use that money for, you know, your 20. I mean, that's awesome. You know,
Yeah,
you
and
figured it out,
and
and
it took a little bit of a sale for my wife to convince her into to doing these things. But I just, the idea I think is the right one. It's just, I'm okay if I consider this a failure that
Yeah,
I didn't
figured
do
out.
the
Yeah,
right-
but you
just figure it
learn.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
So then
I
you're on
learned.
the next one, and you'll make money at the
But
sale,
if you-
right?
And I actually, for probably the first time in my life, I bought at the right time because my rate on it's like 4.75, which was really good just 6 months ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, shit, they're almost 7 or 6 or 7 on an investment property. And then if I can sell, and the key is just polishing it up. You've got to make the presentation.
So will you make money?
Yeah.
When it's all
Yeah,
said
he'll
and done?
make
So
money,
yeah,
right?
then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it appraises, I'll make money.
Yeah.
so let's switch gears on the talking more about, you know, what you do at the bank, you know, your commercial lending, kind of what that world looks like today, being
Yeah.
May of 2023.
How
So
do I become bankable?
because I know there's a lot of, I
'Cause
think
I'm
there's,
not-
Show everything. Just
well, I
Um,
think there's a lot of, you know, people listening and watching. I think there's a lot of, you know, you read a lot of stuff on the news, and you know the banking world's falling apart, and you're gonna lose your money. You pull your money out now.
All your money on
Get
a
out,
big-
get your cash out, get your cash
Yeah,
out.
I
There's
mean, and I'll even back up even further. So I was in a previous role that I did everything, from helping with the teller window to helping with account openings. I work with, you know, one main great person, but a team of good people. But I felt like I did everything. And it's like, okay, when you're in a role in which they want you to hit these goals and they want you to make sure all documentation is proper and perfect and up to date all the time, and there's not enough time in the day to do it, you start to, there's too many things pulling at you, right? There's too many plates spinning. So at that point that it was almost a point of exhaustion almost. And I had this other opportunity with bank came up to be a commercial lender. Was an easy decision, but was also really difficult because it was no longer in a community that I have really grasped in Grimes. I literally could drive to work 9 minutes, go home at lunch every day. Like I just had my routine down. Now I'm in West Des Moines, so I cannot go home at lunch. But it has now allowed me to get out in public. Hey, Nick, I got a property over on Main I want to go look at. Meet me over there. Sounds good. Let's go. In my past life, I couldn't do that because I had to fulfill other obligations and commitments to my staff and the team. Now, yes, I have a team and there's other people in there, but my role is get
Go.
out. Get out. Let's go, you know.
Check out some properties.
Yeah, and the other piece is for what felt like 2 years, I was able to give people money and not ask for it back with the PPP loans. And we did a significant number of those and million. I've literally gave millions of dollars out and never asked for it back. And then after that, when secondary market rates dropped, I was able to loan money to people at, I think the lowest one I did was at like 215. It's just crazy.
It was crazy.
You know, probably on average 325, which
Yeah.
is still amazing.
crazy.
Half of what's today?
Yeah, half.
I mean, you take the community that I'm in. You take a $400,000 loan balance and do it at 3% and then or a 6% rate. It goes from affordable to not affordable.
Yeah,
like it's
very quickly.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So those were some really interesting years. I'm glad that the bank that I work for made us come to work. I do appreciate that, to be honest, because I need people. I need interaction. But at some point, you get tired of interacting with the same people. So it was nice to open back up and get that flow. But now, fast forward to today, I just love sitting across from small business owners that have either been very, very successful and can share stories, others that are just starting out with their investment of a commercial building or whatever the case may be. So, and then I work for a bank. It's called Bank. That is in growth mode. We want to grow. We want to help. We want to be pretty aggressive. I mean, they're offering. It's crazy when you work for a company that sells stuff and the product sucks. You could be labeled as a bad salesperson.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you have
Is
a
it
good
you
product,
or is it the product?
Yeah.
right?
I mean, honestly.
So what are some of the products? You know, what are some of the products that you're focused on?
Yeah,
within the bank.
It's really weird. For the first time in my career, I've been working in banking and finance for 23 years. At no point before January 1st of this year have I ever talked about a savings account. Never. Not once. Maybe in 2008-ish when they had the FDIC scare and people were asking about their insured deposits. Mm-hmm. But I've never sold a rate. Now we've got a savings account at 4.1%, and it is the top rate in the market. Not a CD.
It's actually
easy
checking.
in,
it's
easy
just,
out. It's a savings account.
Savings
account.
No,
really?
What's the requirements of it though?
No requirements.
Just have
minimum balance. No
minimum balance is $5,000.
Right.
And what I would jokingly tell you if you said, Nick, but I only want to bring two, then your two is not going to make you anything anyway. So what good does it do? Honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4.1, and I love that because the ownership of our bank, the leadership of our bank, we knew, just like every bank out there, to be honest. If you look at any online, everybody's selling CDs and money markets or savings, right? Everybody's needing deposits or wanting deposits right now. They went out and said, let's go. We may make less money off of each one, but if we have more of them to make less money off of in the long run, it still helps us get to our goals. So, and the fun part of it is now I've been able to meet a ton of really good people, and one referral always leads to another. It just does. You know, marketing is one of those topics that so many companies talk about. What works? This is what works. Just talking to people. Billboards, I don't know if they work. Koozies, a golf cart sponsor of a whole, I don't know. But we found out very quickly, you know, phones, as far as calling people or texting is letting people know what's going on. And they may not be interested, but they know someone who is.
Mm-hmm. So you were doing banking during the crash.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys have to recall any loans?
Nope. I was never a part of any. I think I was at Chase Bank in New Orleans when all that was going on. And to be honest, I lived in a part of New Orleans that was pretty affluent. So I didn't really see that much. Yeah. Probably similar to Des Moines, to be honest. I mean, I wasn't up here, but my guess is Des Moines probably didn't affect it too much.
Yeah, I was not near.
I don't think so.
Do you think we're in a position as a mark, if you will, to have that more now, where banks just say, "Hey, this note's call it due," and that you have to come up?
I sure hope not. I mean, I
because that terrifies the crap out of me.
BRICS. I've been reading about BRICS. All those foreign countries come together.
So the answer is I hope not. I don't know, but I hope not. I won't even personally do in my career, and I've done thousands and thousands of home loans or loans across the board. I've never done a balloon. I don't even believe that in 5 years from now, I should force you to come in and rewrite your loan. Now, could it adjust? Yes. Most commercial loans, almost all commercial loans
Are
adjust.
adjustable.
At least every 5 years, if not 5, and then 1 on 1. Let that happen.
Like a 3-year arm, 5-year arm.
Yeah.
You know,
Very,
10,
very common.
7, 10. You don't.
But a balloon,
a
balloon literally means in 5 years,
It
whatever
comes
the
due.
principal balance is,
You
it is due.
due.
You either write me a check
Yeah.
or you go through the entire process
Right.
of refinancing.
That's custom
I've
with
never done
seller
that.
financing, but not with. I haven't ran into that with commercial lending.
It's interesting because I just we're in the process of doing a deal to where the seller is offering a piece of the financing, and theirs is a 5-year balloon.
Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I do that all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the one.
But the
that we
beauty,
might
but
be
the
doing.
beauty of that for the seller, and I may be preaching to the choir, is you can get your top dollar,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You can get
and
more.
we know that.
I'd pay over market for a seller financing deal.
Yep.
Where I'm doing one right now.
Are you doing interest only on those, or are you having amortization?
Interest only.
Yep.
4.25% interest.
We need to
4-year
raise it to
balloon.
at least 5. But anyway,
Yeah.
I need to raise it.
yeah, the one we just agreed to with another client
No,
was 5 years.
I'm
He's
only
a buyer.
paying 4.25%.
Well, you need to get lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it's interesting because 2 deals ago for me, we just weren't comfortable with the collateral that was being offered. So we actually asked them to go back to the seller and ask, and they were scared. And I indirectly talked to the seller because of another
thing.
and they were like, we'd have done it in a heartbeat if they asked us. So sometimes it's just getting
Just gotta
uncomfortable.
ask, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. I just had somebody ask, hey, we want to buy this, and it's fully occupied 30-unit place, but can we do interest only on your payment? And it's like,
Interest
why?
only on what?
On his
on
payment.
mine,
to,
on our
to, to the
on our
bank.
25-year amortized loan. They just wanted to get comfortable, and I understand it. And it goes back to what you're saying. From the buyer's perspective, you got to ask, or else you don't know.
Yeah.
But from a bank's perspective, we're like, why would you want to do that? What else is up? What are we missing? Right.
Well,
so
it
you always
increases
have
the
to
cash
think
flow, but
that's
yeah.
it. I think that's all they're looking
Yeah.
for is increasing the cash flow.
Yeah.
Or helping their cash flow. So every deal is so different, man.
I know.
I've really, really enjoyed it. You know, you think you understand a tax return, and then the next one comes in, you're like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
And the reality is the rules change at times too. And
I love deal structure. That's probably one of my favorite things.
Yep.
Is how creative can I get, or
yep,
where can I move debt or borrow cash to, build
It's-
it.
So what's the
is.
craziest thing you've ever loaned on?
Or how big?
Yeah, or how big? 'Cause what are you
an
doing,
interesting
planes?
thing- yeah. So
Private? Like jets?
Like
so
he was doing
I
planes
joined
for a while. Yeah.
I joined bank in May, so let's say a year. And within the first 2 weeks, the president, his name's Chris, great guy, who I interviewed with the whole time, he's like, hey, we're going to Oshkosh in July. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm like, what the fuck's in Oshkosh? Why am I going to Oshkosh?
Yeah.
So I look it up. It is a aircraft or plane or whatever the proper terminology is, like show. Like something you can't make it through in a day. It is huge. It is massive. And come to find out, we are one of about 4 or 5 lending institutions that loans on planes. And the main reason is the founder of our bank, who's no longer with us, was a pilot. Chris, our current president, who's been president for over 20 years, is a pilot. A guy named Daniel, who's a commercial lender for us down in Burlington, is a pilot. So we know our shit.
Yeah.
And so I've never loaned on a plane before. I did one, but I didn't know what I was doing. Before getting to bank, they sent me out to Oshkosh to basically work a booth. And I honestly just was a sponge. Chris and Daniel were both there, bullshitting with people, talking about all this stuff. Because I'm the type of guy, I like cars. I don't know anything about 6-cylinder versus 8-cylinder and a 302 Hemi and this and that. I know nothing about that. But if I see a car drive by and it's loud, I like it. Like I'm that guy. Like
simple.
I had a '96 Mustang that was the one that changed colors, the Mystic Cobra. Loved it. Had an '02 Mustang. Loved it. if you like that type of stuff,
Go.
to a plane show.
Yeah.
They're faster and they're louder and they're cooler. So that's probably been the coolest thing I did. I helped my first customer from Oshkosh, a lead at Oshkosh, just by refinance a plane, and he's in Pennsylvania. Got to know him really well. That was pretty cool.
What's the lowest loan you ever given out?
Dollar wise?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be a personal loan back in my Wells Fargo financial days. Those rates were 36%.
Wow.
What?
36%.
For what type of loan?
Like $1,500 for
personal use, whatever.
a
right?
deposit on an apartment. I mean, just you'd get some
Wild
pretty crazy calls.
interest rates.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, 36%. But credit cards are, and maybe they still are, they're in the mid 20s.
Yeah.
And that installment rate versus revolving is two totally different types of interest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's never a dull moment.
I can
But I like
imagine.
that, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
So let me ask this. So, of course, being in the same community as you, being in Grimes, we've got to see you out pretty much everywhere, wherever we're at, we see you. But I was kind of telling Ethan, kind of before we got started, even with you, that probably one of the biggest things when you look at Nick Reggio, one of the things you think of is just a networker. Like, you are just really good. So people that are watching, one of the things I want to know is, so many people, whether they're starting a business or even in a career like you're doing, no matter what it is, dating girls, I mean, you could apply it to anything. The mindset behind a good networker, like, what are some traits? What's your mindset to do that? To be a good networker, what should you do if you want to become a good networker? What's your first steps to doing this? Kind of a thing. I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, as you're talking, my brain is thinking of a million things. Just that's kind of, I guess, the way I'm wired. Listen more, talk less, is I would say the biggest part. When you hear, like, I just met a gentleman, and as I say this, you'll know who I'm talking about, but I just met a gentleman who's born and raised in Oregon. And immediately I'm like, oh, he's a weirdo like me because I'm from New Orleans and we both live in Iowa. How the hell do we get in Iowa? So I've had to learn when I think those things to just keep listening as opposed to jumping in, and my wife will accuse me often of interrupting her because I want to talk.
I want to be in the conversation. It's not like I care. Like, this is just my genuine.
Like, you say Oregon, I think Prefontaine, Nike Prefontaine. I think of orange and yellow. I think of the cool football uniform. Like, I just roll. But then I continue to listen. He's like, yeah, I got an 11-year-old son that's really good at baseball. And then boom, and I hit sports. And I hit, well, your kid's a similar age to mine. I'm like, so the main thing I would say is connecting, finding a connection with person. Because if I can connect with you, at some point, you're going to ask me what I do. I am huge on always wearing who I work for. Huge.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's Dow Center Grimes, or I have a daughter now that's at Woodward Granger, or bank, or whatever the case may be, I've always been very, very proud of who I work for, because if I'm not, I shouldn't be there. I've always thought that. I mean, I literally have had past coworkers that will put on a sweater, or put on a jacket, or put on whatever over their bank stuff, because I always worked at a bank, to go into the public, to go to Fairway. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, holy crap, I'd rather show that.
Yeah.
Than
doesn't
anything.
it take, like, I mean, you say this and it's like, yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, in terms of just being a good listener, going out there talking to people, but a lot of people just don't care. It's a skill set. Like, I think doing what you do, because here's why I know. So I called Nick, talked to him about this commercial building. Okay. Nick. Yeah. About the commercial building on Main Street.
Oh,
so,
the one that.
Oh, the one in Grimes.
Trying to get?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there talking to Nick about Grimes, and I say, Nick, I'm thinking about maybe buying this building. You went on for like 10 minutes. He knew every single person that owned every single building on that street, the history of it, who they are, where they work, when they bought it. I'm just going, I got the phone, I looked at Alice, I go, I'm like, how did he just, like, that is a skill set. Like, that's a skill set that you have to want to to not be stagnant. Like you have to ask more questions. I mean, there's no way you did that and just. I don't know. Am I?
No, you're not making the same.
So
It's
it's
just
interesting.
knowledge, yeah.
It's interesting
It's
that you say
phenomenal.
that because in certain environments, I feel that it flows. Right, it's easy, but there's also times in my career as a coach that I've been accused of not being approachable. So I know that I'm approachable, but also there's other settings in which I have to become the boss. And I have to manage these kids and coach these kids and almost at times tell the parents, shut up and trust me.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then just go somewhere else. Like, I'm okay with that. There's plenty of other paid coaches that you can go pay.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying me a dime, and I don't want to receive it. Because as I'm listening to you, you're right. I mean, Jake, I could rattle them all off. And I know all these people, and I can call these people, and I can, good or bad, my phone has every one of their phone numbers in it, but that's not always the case. So there are definitely things that I think I do fairly well, but then there's also the same where it doesn't always work out that way.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
So anyone that knows me would say extrovert, literally anyone. But so I'm at a track meet on Monday in Madrid. My daughter's an 8th grader and doing well. I sit as far away from anybody as I possibly can. Because sometimes you just want to be alone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like we went with 3 couples to Jamaica 3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And the best part about it was a low, quiet group of people that we could just relax. Because there are times that my life is very high-paced and full of energy and just busy. Right. But I've jokingly said, and this would be public knowledge now, that my best vacation is if my wife went that way, my kids go that way, and I stay in my own bed, my own house, my own truck, my own fridge, and just relax.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm an introvert at times.
You got to go to Croatia, man.
For real? What's in Croatia? I mean, I'll go wherever.
Bring your bed with you if it's not amazing. But
Bring your pillow.
But no, it's just so weird because we've done family vacations with my family down. They'll travel over in Florida, and I'll never forget. It was like 97 degrees. Yeah. I had sand in places I didn't like, and I'm like, I don't want. This isn't even fun.
Yeah, it's not.
We want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I want to be upstairs, and then. Everybody's down the beach and I can see him and my phone's going crazy. Why aren't you down here with us? That's why I just want to breathe. But then there's other times where it's
it's hustle.
Maybe as I age, I'm just kind of learning when and where I don't need to be. Like sitting on a ride mower, love it. Right. Throw my,
my parents got like 100 acres if you really love it that much.
We have 5, but we mow about 3 and it's plenty.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was saying about the networking and what you do, it's pretty amazing. And I think it for people that want to get out there, I mean, it challenges me to be like, man, I'm not doing what I need to do. Like as a real estate agent, I should know all those I should know those owners. Yeah. I should be Mr. Chamber.
See,
I should be the.
And it's funny because I had this exact conversation with the person who should know more than any of us, and that's the head of our chamber, Brian Beathy. And he's like, you know more about now. He's amazing at the businesses part, but what his intent was, the context of our conversation was the school side of things, the sports side of things, to try to tie it all together. Right. Because to me, that's what it is. It's just connecting the dots. Jacques Blackman that bought into Uptown is an insurance guy. So that's how we met. And then his mom, who's deceased now, but banked with us. So I kind of you just start making ties.
Right.
And the fun part for me now is when people need services and connecting those dots. That's so easy. It's so easy.
I've got 2 questions before we wrap it up. One's, we ask it all the time, and I'll say that first so you can think about it. But what's something that most people care about that you don't care about? So I'll let you think about that for a second. And then something that you and him are going back and forth on is, do you recommend that people should double down on their talents, or that they should, like you said, like, there's some things I'm really, really good at, and then there's things I'm not good at. Do you think people should hyper focus on what they're good at, and what they're not good at, just let it go, or try and be more of a jack of all trades?
Man, great questions. So the thing that I feel that I am good at that others may not want to be good at, or that
No. What is something that other people care about?
Oh, care about.
Like their mind, like somebody said last week, was being understood.
Yep.
They're like, I don't care. I used to care or want to be liked by everybody, and it's not that.
That's what I was gonna say. To be honest, I will tell you hello, not for you to tell me hello back. I will tell my kids I love you, not to be told that I back. Now, when I get it back, awesome. But the reality is 13-year-olds aren't going to say I love you. They're just not. My 12-year-old just finally started not telling me goodnight. Right? So like, I'll hold the door for you, not for you to hold the door back for me. So I see people that do things in response, like they want to thank you. Just do it. But it's that simple. It's like, just do it. Just do it for no response. Because I mean, and my wife, we've got, I went down and I did this for her, but she didn't thank me. Who cares? Do it without wanting to be thanked. Because the beauty is, if you want to be thanked and you don't, you're not gonna do it again.
Yeah,
right. You're just not.
It's done.
Like, she's just
it distills the joy. It distills your joy for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a joy stealer. It totally is. And then what was the other thing you asked about? I thought about Cane's. I thought about Chick-fil-A. I personally think stick to what you're good at.
Okay, that's all right.
Because Cane's and Chick-fil-A.
I was like,
well, some of these businesses,
that's what they do.
Some of these businesses,
they
focus and they do it really freaking well.
Yeah. Would you say Chick-fil-A's focus is chicken or customer service? Because when I see their TikToks or their Instagrams, it's never about their chicken. It's about their crazy customer service. Like, stuff. I saw this one where this guy knocks on this dude opens the door, and it's a Chick-fil-A guy, and he's like, "You forgot your sauce." It's like that he brought the sauce to the house.
I don't know that I don't know that I have an answer to that. Both. See, all the above. Yeah. Because the reality is the quality, for the most part, it's good.
Yeah.
Sauce
good chicken.
Good.
Yeah.
It's right across. It's convenient for me. Yeah. That's I have two places I go every week: McAllister's Deli in West Des Moines, and Chick-fil-A, and Cane's usually too. So three of my 5 days are, and Cane's is founded on Baton Rouge's campus at LSU. So I have a tie to that a little bit.
Chick-fil-A has to figure out a way to put their commercial properties in a location that has enough space so there's not traffic jams.
Dude,
they really
they create such a. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be.
They should
busy.
be required to have like
right
a 2-acre spot.
Right. I mean, over off of University by Barnes and Noble. Yeah. That is a train wreck, man. Yes. That is like you people.
You gotta go through Barnes and then
up and over and then up and
yeah.
That's if funny. You don't, there's like people out there with flags trying. I mean, you got it going on when you're. Fast food restaurant, and you got people out there directing traffic. I
mean, think about the amount of money that they probably spent in the last few years on putting heaters outside and those cubicle things where the people stand in.
Oh my gosh!
They've totally changed drive-through.
Yeah,
they totally changed drive-through.
Yeah.
But but we're here. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. So they
did something right. Yeah.
And the chicken is not amazing.
The chicken nuggets do.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. No, as we're talking about this, I think a Popeyes is really good. So maybe I just like chicken. But
here's and so we this is like 2 weeks ago, my wife and I, hey, let's just get Chick-fil-A, whatever. And, all right, so we'll have it delivered. It was like $57.
Oh my god!
Yeah, $50. I'm like
for Chick-fil-A delivered. No.
And go sell another house.
I'm like, man, those nuggets were good, but $700 worth.
Let me preserve some of this a little bit.
That's anywhere anymore. You go out to eat.
Well, now we got Slim Chickens. I haven't tried that one yet in Grimes. It's crazy because we're talking about food. That quick trip to Jamaica. taught me very quickly why typically Americans are fat.
Oh.
The portion sizes in Jamaica, I had to order like 3 meals just to like hit my belly. And it's funny because we flew back through Dallas, Fort Worth and missed our flight. Long story, missed our flight. And there's a Buffalo Wild Wings there. And we go upstairs and go eat Buffalo Wild Wings and ordered the All-American burger.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it was like 4 inches tall. And I'm like, duh, no wonder we're all... I think that cardiologists are invested in these places because it sends us to the heart doctor.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure if it's the same measurement, but our small McDonald's soft drinks are the same size as Europeans' larges.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All that
It's
sugar.
disgusting.
Well, and it's
small.
the extras, and
Are
it's
small.
and people will come back from the Jamaicas and the Dominicans of the world and Cancun and blah 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 and say, well, their food is just bland. It's because they don't add all the bad shit.
Yeah.
Now I like a good taste too,
Yeah.
but there's a
So,
reason. But anyway,
Well, we
Cool,
really
man.
appreciate your time, man. Thanks
Thank
so
you guys
much
as
for
well.
joining and sharing some light about lending.
Stuff.
Yeah.
What can they find you if anybody wants to reach out to you?
Yeah, if someone needs to reach out to you for commercial lending.
probably the easiest, most efficient way other than giving cell phone numbers out. I mean, our bank location we share a parking lot with Smash Park. So we're right next to Smash Park, in between Smash Park and Jordan Creek Mall. If you've been
on
to
the
Smash
other
Park,
side
you've driven.
of Hyatt,
Yep.
Hyatt,
Hyatt. Yep.
Hyatt.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you'll drive by now and be like, "How did I not freak?" I mean,
See
it's
that.
a huge bank sign, literally.
And are you there? Do you get to work from home now, or should I
Nope.
come in?
I go
next
in.
time?
I go in I've made it a commitment to go in at least 4 or 5 hours a day to get email serviced and paperwork. But in a perfect world, man, I'm out and about.
What about your social media?
Facebook, honestly, is the main
Facebook?
one I've stayed off of Twitter and all my kids, Snapchat, whatever the hell they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook is probably the easiest one for me.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, we'll throw your Facebook up, and I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
so
you guys
much
for the
man.
opportunity.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like, subscribe button, and we will catch you next time. Peace.